Thanks, Paula. Well, one of the country's most successful women is also a genuine advocate of women's rights. Myrna Yao started Richwell Trading with a small investment of about 5,000 pesos. Now the company employs over 1,400 workers, and its revenue grows in the double-digit rates annually, with total sales nearing at the 9-digit level. But growing a business was not enough for Myrna, who joined the Philippine Commission on Women and founded the Federation of Local Council of Women. She has attended a number of APEC meetings and has even written a book to talk about stories of women empowerment and economic success. Myrna Tang Yao, President and Chief Executive Officer of Richprime Global, joins us in the studio this morning with matching outfits to boot. Good morning, Myrna. Good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, good morning, Lexi.
Well, you know what? We're all talking about APEC at this point, but it's also important to talk about the smaller stories that have become big. And yours is a story that really empowers women because from maybe you were in grade school, you were already an entrepreneur at heart. Talk to us about your start.
Well, when I was in the elementary, I already was selling tiny little accessories, and I buy it from Divisoria and then sell it to my classmates. And so I've been really wanting to be an entrepreneur since I was a child.
But is this because your father, I guess, was a businessman as well, and this is what you saw? But coming from a conservative Chinese family, I think you're the third out of 7 children.
Yes,
you had to parang prove yourself, diba?
Yeah,
you had to bring yourself to the foreground.
I really had to prove myself in many ways. In fact, I remember I was just 10, and during vacation I had to look at the construction and man the construction in the province because I'm from Bicol, the Bicol region. So, but my mother worked very hard.
Did she work in the company of your dad as well?
Yeah, they work. You know, we have like a sari store wherein we buy the copra, and so the poor women or the disadvantaged women will try to make balit, and then when they sell the copra, that's the time we deduct all their advances.
And then you also obviously got into business when you got out of college. Talk to us about that.
Well, actually, I was a working student. I want to learn more and faster, so I work while I go to school. And although my parents can afford, but I didn't want to waste my time, so I tried to finish my college in 3.5 years. I took summer classes, and then I took my master's afterwards. Even though I was married, I got married at the age of 19.
At 19?
Yeah.
And
so
then, of course, together you did put a business up.
Yes.
And you started importing. It was Goodyear, yes?
Actually, I started with buy and sell of blouses.
You've done it all, Myrna.
Everything, all the small things like. So I was telling all the micro-entrepreneurs, the women that try to sell something, whatever you can sell, and then one day you will just kick it and then know that this is for you.
Well, before talking about Barbie, do you feel that at this point women are still shy or not confident in themselves to come up with the entrepreneurial spirit in themselves? Because there are a lot of micro and small entrepreneurs that are women.
Many of them are just afraid and they don't have the confidence of what they're doing. So I always advise them that it's important for them to know what they want, their passion.
Right.
When they know what they're doing, then they're more confident. So it's important that they have to choose their line. Either you like cooking, you like food, you like designing, whatever you want, but do something in a way that you will really love what you're doing.
So when you decided to tell your husband then, you know what, I want to bring in something that's for the children. Apparently bringing in toys was not the norm during 1982.
No.
It was banned.
Yes. Actually, I started in a men's business.
Correct.
I was not in women business. So I was in corporate trading, I was in tires, you know, and I deal with all men and no woman at all. And so when we grew as the biggest distributor of Goodyear in 2 years' time, then Goodyear felt like we're growing so fast. And I felt like we're already on the top and no growth anymore because our deliveries were hold because they don't want us to grow so fast.
Right.
So I said, this is it. We have to look for another business. But since I love children so much, I said I'd rather go into a business that has to do with children.
Right. And I mean, talk about Barbie. It's not necessarily that I want to talk about the business aspect of it, but you also did a significant stride when you created the Filipina Barbie, because you're also about women empowerment and Filipina empowerment.
Yes, yes.
Right? So talk to us about the creation of that Barbie with Patis Tesoro.
Yeah, you know, wherever I go during those days, they always look at the Filipina girl either as a maid or as, as whether they're entertainers. So I felt like it's so demeaning in a way. I said, what can I do for our country and the Philippines, and especially the women? And I said, maybe through Barbie, I can make Filipina Barbie and put the history of our country and put the design of our clothing, the way we do things here in the Philippines, that women are really pampered. They're in a way they're very respected in our country, matriarchal way. So I started doing the Filipina Barbie, and I believe that I did it very unique in such a way that it's all handmade, hand-knitted, embroidered, so that there's no Barbie in the world that has something like that, right?
Correct.
I only produce 1% of every kind so that it will really be a collector.
So collector's eye na po.
Yes, and it became one of the best collector in the world because of the bead, like we have the Igorots, and I also promote the food of the Philippines through the dresses and the animal of the Philippines, the tradition. And I asked Patis Tesoro to also get her ideas and her sign, and which turned out to be very good. We even have the Santa Cruzan.
You have a lot of it going
the Banderada, all of this. So we were able to promote the Filipina in a way through art.
Well, talk to us also about the Philippine Commission on Women, because you're not only about being an entrepreneur, but also you want the laws to be in place, help these entrepreneurs.
Yeah, that's true. So, because it has been my dream, actually. And I grew up in the province, and see all these women, and I feel, what can I do for them? Since I was small, I said, no, the first thing I have to do is to make myself rich, so I can help them, because if I'm not poor, I'm not rich, then can I help them, right? So I try to work hard. I try to go into business. I try my best, but after that, then I pray, and I always pray next. How can I help them? It's too much, And God, put me in a place where I was able to serve as a commissioner in Commission on Women, and it started from there.
Right.
And then I became the chairman of the mission, so I have more ideas in how to be inclusive in involving the government, the NGOs, and the business sectors.
Well, talking about inclusive, you do have a book on the Great Women Project, which is all about inclusive growth,
Yes.
women.
Yes.
Talk to us about this book that you brought with us.
And actually, the gift of a dream. I wrote this book. Ambassador Albert told me that since that is your concept and your vision, why don't you write a bit? And so I launched it during the APEC, because one of the biggest project of the commission my time is the Great Women Projects. And in doing that, the government said we have no budget for that. I said, it's all right. I look for my own budget. We tried to engage SIDA, the Region Development, and they support us. And I'm so thankful that they gave $7 as a start. And when it's done, now they supported again this branch of
Yes, I hear that they Their support for the Great Women brand. Can you talk just briefly about some of the great brands that there are, because it's really an amalgamation of different women and their projects, whether it be another or whether it be a global weave. I mean, really an interesting mix of women.
The Great Women Project, the most important thing is that we have to extend it to localities, and so the government office are always part of the women, because if the government support them, then especially for the it will be very difficult for them. But I hope, because my vision stop in the first level, the second vision is to make our women not grow. My vision is really to make women see and even global, because I'm a micro-entrepreneur and I don't like the micro. I think I'm global. I think I'm out of the world, not only in the Philippines. And I wrote this book because it has a vision. There must be a vision.
It's more of a shift of mindset. Yes. For women not to think that they can only travel, but they can reach the stars if they... Okay, well, the recently concluded APEC. What does APEC mean to you? Because you were at the summit as well.
Yes. APEC is actually turn between different countries and ideas, and it's very important, and understanding, which is very, very important. Well, for me, the APEC is an extended experience. Although, I have to say that sometimes spend so much, so probably have to have and maybe among the APEC leaders, they probably control unnecessary things that is for the work and the job to make it in a different path of doing things like spending so much. So I think we also be focused we want to achieve, and results is so important.
Results is what the naysayers are after. The protests had to do with the fact that APEC is really only meant for big corporations. A micro, small, and medium segment as well of APEC, because they want inclusive growth. They want to help as well.
Although I'm happy, you really look at the unlike before those years, got SMEs, but that micro entrepreneurship is focused.
Did you get to see Obama was the one facilitating between Jack Ma and Mijeno? That was really nice, because looking for funding for something that could help. It's a very small idea.
Yeah.
So
everything is possible. It's just a matter of act on it, just not hope.
Maybe for those out there who are wired by your story, because you started out and look where you are now helping. What can you tell them to make them believe themselves that they can reach much higher than they think they can?
Well, I can advise that if you have an idea, don't wait. And if you're afraid to make mistakes will make you learn and will make you grow. So any problems that come, you just have to face it. And then you will learn from it, and then you will grow from it, and then you will be a better person and a better entrepreneur.
Well, Myrna Yao, always a pleasure to talk to you. It was so wonderful to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being with us. And after the break, red tide affects several bays in Aklan. The details when Mornings at ANC returns.